Another edible and very useful plant, very nutritious, is the lamb's quarter. It's pretty easy to find. Grows on roadsides, vacant lots. You know, old barnyards always are full of it. That's why we get so much. It's pretty easy to identify. Pretty distinctive leaf shape. The center of the growing tip usually has kind of like a white powdery residue on it. And one thing very unique to this plant is the fact that it sheds water. If you were to splash water on this plant, it would just roll right off and the plant would be bone dry. Really the only way to get them to soak in water is to cook them. It's prepared basically the same way you would spinach. You boil or steam it. Or if you're like me, I like to, as I'm just going around where it's growing, I just pick it and eat it raw. Delicious. But, yeah, lamb's quarters are definitely one of the better foraging greens. I like it better than spinach. Similar taste, but doesn't have that kind of gritty texture. And like I say, fairly easy to find. There's a little grasshopper on that one. When you harvest lamb quarters, what you want are fairly small, young plants, and I just harvest the top growing tip. That's the tenderest part of the plant. And another advantage of that is, you know, they'll just grow more growing tips off the same stalk, and you can do that off the same patch 2 or 3 times before they get too big. Lamb's quarters too are a very hardy plant. I actually tried to get rid of them out of my garden areas for years before I realized you could just pick them and eat them. They're also probably one of the more widespread of the wild foods that I'll cover on my channel. I actually spent a summer out in the desert in Idaho, and you know, on the edges of the yards where people would water their lawns and try to get stuff to grow, up would pop lamb quarters. So I think pretty much anywhere in the United States you could probably find them. Like I said, tasty, very nutritious, easy to find, great foraging green. I suggest you go out right now is a good time because they're young plants and they're young and tender. I'd suggest you go out and pick yourself some lamb quarters.